Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy, the Anime Ambu here, coming at you with part 17 of What If Naruto Was Like Minato. On my right, I've got the story, but I'm in an advertiser right now, so I'm going to try to elongate this intro. But what's good with y'all? I've been chilling. Sorry for not posting yesterday. I was busy. And honestly, I have no pre-recorded episodes, and I just didn't have the time or the energy to really record, and I didn't want to give you guys like a half-assed kind of episode where I didn't really put my energy into it, or didn't feel like it, because I feel like that would be noticeable. So I just didn't record yesterday, but it's okay because I'm recording today and I'm feeling a little better, energetic. But yeah, so we're coming at it with part 17, and I don't think I have much else to talk about. So, like, comment, and subscribe. I respond to all comments, I heart all comments, and I like all comments. And I genuinely appreciate the, energy and the feedback that I've been receiving. And it's been much needed, honestly. And I've just been really appreciative of that. And, we're on the road to 200 subscribers. So if you guys could, hit that subscribe button and maybe turn on post notifications, I would genuinely appreciate that. And it would really make my day. It would really make me happy. If you comment that you subscribed, I will be more than happy to respond to that, and we can have a conversation if you want. But yeah, so I think that's about it for me, and without further ado, let's get right on into the episode. Naruto and Jiraiya established a schedule for Naruto's training. Jiraiya would create 2 shadow clones along with Naruto. He would remain with the original, while the other 2 would practice Fuinjutsu and Ninjutsu. Naruto was already a master of Fuinjutsu, so there wasn't much to teach him that he didn't already know. Instead, they were working on new seals that he could use in the future, not just in the Chunin exams, but against other opponents as well. Naruto's grasp on ninjutsu was pretty solid, not to mention his vast repertoire of them. He knew more C to B rank jutsus rather than A rank jutsu, and he used them very effectively. He usually preferred using Suiton or Futon, but his Katon and Raiton were equally as good. Jiraiya was training him in a B-rank fire jutsu, Katan Hono Sude, fire style blazing hands. Since Naruto knew that his opponent was primarily a taijutsu fighter, he would have to fight hand-to-hand at some point, but Naruto knew that the Hyuga preferred to stick with their gentle fist. He already had a good repertoire of mid to long-range jutsu to fight. Also, he knew that the gentle fist targeted Kenjutsu, the points in chakra network that control the flow of chakra. But just like Tenten, Neji couldn't have found a worse opponent since Naruto didn't have a chakra network, so Neji's fighting style was already null and void. Add to the fact that the Hyuga see learning elemental jutsu beneath someone of their stature, and Neji is totally crushed. The original Naruto was concentrating on increasing the speed of his reflexes and taijutsu against Jiraiya. Naruto found out on the first day of their training that Jiraiya was holding back a lot. Their routing was something like this. First, the Sannin would check whether Naruto's resistance seals were actually affecting him or not. Based on that, he would let it remain or change them to a higher level. Then he would tell him to just defend. Naruto would have impressive bruises by the end of the defensive session. After the first hour of relaxation, in which his bruises would get healed, Naruto would be told to try and hit Jiraiya. Every single day for the first week, he was only able to hit the man 5 times at most. Granted, his fighting style, the elemental fist, was as aggressive as it was defensive, not to mention had a minority of made-up moves that he usually employed to finish a fight. He was still far from landing critical hits on the Sannin. Guess he isn't just a Sannin in name, after all, Naruto thought as he relaxed in the onsen. Today was the first Saturday of the month, and he and Jiraiya did nothing but a small-time, limited spar to evaluate Naruto's skills. Naruto had mastered the blazing hands in a total of just 5 hours, and spent the rest of the week trying to incorporate it into his fighting style. Jiraiya had released him early because Naruto was to do his own training in the weekends, and Naruto planned to hit a long overdue task, his father's simulation. He had 5 more levels to go, and Naruto planned to hit 4 of them in the following 4 weekends. He was confident that he would be able to complete with some, if not full ease, but he was worried about that later. Right now, Naruto felt nothing but exasperation along with resignation as he watched his godfather giggle perversely as he peeked onto the woman's side of the bath. After their spar, Jiraiya had suggested they go to the onsen to relax. Naruto, the naive idiot he was, readily agreed, saying he could use a hot bath. However, Naruto had planned on discussing a few things with Jiraiya about what he learned during the first week of the training month while relaxing. This was the first time he learned that when Jiraiya suggested they relax in a hot bath, he really just wanted to peek on women. Even though there were only two of them on the men's side, Naruto sunk lower in order to hide the fact that he was there with Jiraiya. Oh, this is good, very good, Jiraiya giggled lecherously as he gazed on the naked women on the other side. Naruto glared at his back fiercely, making the tiger hand seal. Chains of water rose up and wrapped around Jiraiya, viciously yanking him back into the water. Can't you stop being a pervert for just a moment and relax? Naruto said dryly, asking him as his head came out of the water. Jiraiya looked genuinely offended at the question. What? That's just not possible. Being a pervert runs in my blood, Jiraiya proclaimed graciously, even pumping a fist to prove his point. As if that's something to be proud of, Naruto grumbled as he got up, wrapping his towel around his waist. If he stayed longer, he would faint from dizziness. He would hit the simulation later tonight, so right now he had nothing to do. As he walked towards his apartment, he absolutely wondered, I wonder what kind of training Sasuke is going through. Elsewhere, Sasuke sneezed, causing him to slip into the water with his hands still alight with lightning, shocking him. Naruto panted as the simulation got over. His opponent lay beaten before him. It wasn't tough, but it wasn't easy either. A wave of satisfaction passed over him as he went through the fight in his head. This time he managed to inflict most of the bruises on his opponent instead of himself. His opponent was crafty, and his fighting style was something Naruto had never seen. He fought almost like he was dancing, weaving around in a circular pattern. His fight was almost on the ground and kicks were inverted, the force behind increasing each maneuver. However, Naruto was able to find the weakness of his style. As offensive as it was, only evasion tactics were used by his opponent to escape his attacks. There weren't many blocks, so the upper body's only way to not get hit is to keep continuously moving in an acrobatic way. Naruto, however, was able to land in a few attacks before getting annoyed. His opponent's patterns were too erratic to find an opening and exploit it at the same time. So Naruto himself improvised. An opponent with a fighting style like that can be dealt with in many ways, but the option that stood out most to Naruto was the use of brute force. Up until now, Naruto had only attacked the opponent. However, Naruto enhanced his fist with chakra and punched the ground hard. The force behind it was not what Naruto expected it to be. A few cracks spread around the impact area, but the force was enough to make his opponent stumble, just for a moment. Just what Naruto needed. In a flash step, he appeared before the attacker and slammed his fist straight into the stomach. The human body isn't strong enough to withstand the amount of force that Naruto put in the punch. Added with the fact that the last punch was enhanced by the blazing hand, his opponent was out for the count. Naruto flashed into his apartment, groaning and looking forward to a hot shower after the session. He was to start his summoning training for Monday, so that was something to look forward to. He took off all his clothes and grabbed a towel from the rack, entering the bathroom and closing it. He sighed in relief as the hot water poured over him, washing all the grime and dirt from his body as well as soothing his muscles. He stood in there for over 20 minutes, after which he turned off the shower, wiping the water off him and tying it to his waist. He exited the bathroom, he shut the door, and paused for a moment before turning around, eyes narrowing. After a moment, he sighed and relaxed. He proceeded to get dressed and eat dinner before retiring to sleep. He failed to take notice of the crow perched on the lamppost outside his apartment, an ominous shutting gun in its eye socket. You all know what this is, right? I believe that's Shisui's eye that Itachi implanted in the crow. That he ends up putting in Naruto later. You know, so that he can break out of the Tsukunomi. I don't know if y'all know that or not. Or not the Tsukunomi, but the, what is it? The reanimation jutsu that he ends up to use to break out of the reanimation jutsu. He uses Kodo Matsukami from Shisui's eye. I don't know if y'all know that. Yosh, you're ready to learn awesomeness that is summoning? Jiraiya questioned loudly, grinning like he knew something Naruto didn't. Naruto just stared at him in a deadpan. Jiraiya began to feel uncomfortable under the deadpan, coughing into his fist in order to maintain his dignity. Alright, summoning is a pretty simple jutsu with a little amount of technicalities. The chakra requirements for each summoning differ greatly. Take me for example. If I put a large amount of chakra into the jutsu, I'm likely to get a bigger and stronger summon like a battle toad. Then when I put a small amount of chakra, which is when I get a messenger toad. You'll have to adjust accordingly to your summons, he explained. Naruto had to admit that whenever Jiraiya was serious-like, it was actually possible to see how intelligent he was. Nodding to Jiraiya, Naruto bit his left thumb, allowing blood to come out. He then went through the hand seals and slammed his hand on the ground, pumping a little more than a quarter of his chakra. Kuchiyose no Jutsu. With the sealing array spread out from beneath his hand, nothing else happened. Naruto rose an eyebrow in confusion. Jiraiya noticed it and smirked. While not shouting out the name of your jutsu is admirable and very useful as a habit, this one is a special case. You have to verbally pronounce it. Naruto rolled his eyes at that and exclaimed, "Kuchiyose no Jutsu." In a large puff of smoke, it revealed that Naruto had managed to summon Takeshi, the boss of foxes. The large summoning easily towered over the entire forest they were in, providing a great view to Naruto, who stood up on the fox's head. Jiraiya was gaping at the gigantic summon that Naruto had managed to summon on his first try. "Kami, I didn't know that foxes were so powerful. This guy could easily tower over Gamabunta, and that size is no joke at all. How the hell did Naruto manage to summon him on his first try? And judging by the giant sword, this guy's easily skilled in Kenjutsu." He really did land a treasure with the fox contract, Jiraiya thought as he continued to gaze the summon. Takeshi blinked when he didn't find any threat in front of him, so he addressed his summoner, "Naruto-san." His voice snapped Naruto from his mental dance of victory. "Ah, Takeshi, I'm practicing summoning jutsu to get used to it in the future." Takeshi gave a sound of realization. "Ah, I see. In that case, allow me to give you a little advice. Whenever you use Kuchiyose no Jutsu, state what type of summon do you want to come to your aid. Battle summons are always on standby, so you don't need to state this for the battle summons. But I have to say, it's nothing short of impressive for you to summon me at your age," he complimented Naruto. Naruto blushed at the praise and rubbed the back of his head, chuckling sheepishly. "Thank you, Takeshi-san, and please, just Naruto's fine." Takeshi chuckled. "Very well, Naruto, it is. And don't hesitate to call me if things get difficult for you, Naruto." He dispelled himself after that, returning to the realm of the foxes. Naruto easily landed in a crouch beside a stunned Jiraiya. "What the hell was that, brat?" Jiraiya almost yelled with wide eyes. Naruto gave him an innocent look. "What do you mean?" Jiraiya pointed a finger. "Don't give me that look. How the hell did you manage to summon the box of foxes on the first try? Even I didn't manage to summon the toad boss on the first try." Naruto gave him a confused look. "All you have to do is pump the chakra, and based on the amount, you get the summon, right? I pumped a significant amount of chakra in the jutsu right now." Jiraiya had calmed a little from Naruto's explanation, but was a little curious too. "Just how much did you put into it?" Naruto shrugged. "A little over a quarter of my chakra." Jiraiya nodded absentmindedly, then he really registered what Naruto said and whipped around to stare at him. "Is he for real? A little over a quarter? Most people his age would have had chakra exhaustion trying to summon the boss, and they would still fail. But then again, his reserves are steadily being increased by the seal, so that's that," he thought speculatively. "Well, brat, since you've shown that you can already get the summon boss, well, let's try to reduce the amount to see what you get. Who knows, you might even get a personal summon of your own," Jiraiya suggested, mentally smirking when he saw Naruto's eyes lighting up at the word personal summon. Naruto grinned at the thought of having a fox partner. That would be so cool. He ignored Kurama's grumblings of "I'm right here" and cut his thumb, flashing through the hand size and slamming his hand on the ground. "Kuchiyose no Jutsu." A burst of smoke revealed that he had managed to summon a white fox with black markings on its upper body. Standing up to Naruto's waist, it had a white tail swaying lazily behind it, and it peered up to Naruto with curious green eyes. "Who are you?" Its tone, a soft tenor, held a hint of curiosity mixed with cautiousness. Naruto grinned and pointed towards himself with the thumb. "I'm Uzumaki Naruto, the newest summoner of the Kitsune. Nice to meet you." He watched as the fox's eyes brightened up and almost laughed when the fox introduced itself in a similar manner, pointing towards itself with its opposable thumbs. "You're the new summoner? This is awesome. My name's Raiden, the second son of the boss of the Kitsune, and the most awesome Kitsune ever. Pleased to meet you." Man, Naruto had to stop himself from glomping the fox because his voice was just so damn cute. Naruto laughed at Raiden's introduction and said, "Pleased to meet you too, Raiden. You're actually the second summon I've ever summoned, you know." Raiden frowned. "The second? Who's the first?" Naruto smiled proudly. "Why, your father, of course." Raiden's eyes widened. "You managed to summon my father? You must be really strong then." Naruto just closed his eyes and nodded, enjoying the moment and completely ignoring Jiraiya, who was gaping at the both of them. "Kami, he's just like Naruto," he thought as he observed them converse. Raiden seemed to come to a realization as he tugged Naruto's lower, gaining a curious look from the boy. "Naruto, do you know what this means? You summoning me?" His voice seemed to grow with excitement as he voiced his question. Naruto raised a confused eyebrow. "No, what does this mean?" Raiden shook his head with wonder. "It's a requirement to summon the boss of any summoning clan after you sign the contract, Naruto. However, whom you summon next becomes the summoner's personal summon." He finished with a significant amount of glee in his voice. Wait. Oh, yeah. Okay, so basically what he's saying is that Naruto's first summon of summoning the boss, I forgot his name just now. Basically that they have to summon the boss first, and then the next one that you summon is their personal summon. That's what he's saying, basically. He finished with a significant amount of glee in his voice. Naruto also started grinning at the end of his explanation. He engulfed the fox in a hug, burying his head in his fur. Which means you're my personal summon now! We're gonna have so much fun together, Raiden! The fox also laughed in happiness, and it was then that Naruto remembered something. Oh, Raiden, I almost forgot. This is my godfather, Jiraiya. He introduced the smirking man sitting behind them. Finally remembered me, huh, Naruto? You are the Toad Sage? Raiden's whisper had the unmistakable feeling of awe. Jiraiya grinned and exclaimed, Indeed I am! Raiden began to shake in excitement. Kami-sama, I can't believe you have such cool company, Naruto. This is the first time I met the summoner of the Toad Clan, let alone a sage. Jiraiya was basking in pride that even the summons he hadn't heard of before seemed to know who he was. But that feeling of pride quickly shattered when Naruto spoke. Seriously, he's not that cool, Raiden. He's a pervert. Jiraiya shouted in defense, sounding extremely offended. Wrong, I'm a super pervert. However, Raiden shook his head, amused by the antics of the large man. I'll remember that in the future. It's nice to meet you, Jiraiya-sama. Turning to Naruto, he poked him in the chest. Naruto, don't forget about me. Summon me whenever you can, okay? Even if you just want to hang out or talk. I've been told I'm a great listener. Naruto smiled and nodded, rubbing Raiden's head. Raiden then dispelled himself back to the summoning room. Alright, there's a little skip. Listen, boys and girls, I don't know if there's any ladies listening right now, so I'm just gonna make sure I am inclusive. It's 6 in the morning. Your boy has his cup of coffee, you feel me? Right next to him. Yes, I do. Man, you know, I was really excited to film this episode, and I want to get this one out to you guys as soon as possible. So yeah, I'm gonna, you know, we're going through a lot of the chapter really fast. So if I'm going too fast, I'm sorry. Let me know in the comment section if I'm going too fast for you guys to, you know, be able to comprehend. I have a habit of like speaking fast. But I'm gonna drink my coffee. It is so freaking good. Oh my gosh, vanilla flavored creamer, right? So good. All right, I digress. I kind of want to drop a video of just like conversations with chat. I want to find a platform where we can like all group up, you know, like all the subs, and then we can just like have a talk. And I want that to be like a series on my channel where like it's just like combos with the subs, you feel me? I feel like that'd be super cool, and like I would very much enjoy to do that with you guys. So if you guys are down for that, let me know. And then we gotta find a platform that we can all do this on, so that we can all have these little conversations with chat, you know what I mean? Yeah, that'd be cool, like a group chat, maybe on Instagram or something, I don't know. We'll figure it out, I'll figure it out. Or we'll figure it out. Let me know down in the comment section below if y'all want to do that. I feel like that'd be super cool, and then it's a way to include you guys into the videos and onto the channel, and then it becomes more of like a community, you feel me? That's kind of what I want to build, is like a community of like peoples, you know? That'd be super cool though, like to do a combos with chat kind of thing, talking about anime or whatever y'all want to talk about. I digress, let's continue. Sorry, I get sidetracked. The next 2 weeks were spent like the first week. Since Naruto already had an excellent grasp on his summoning, so they spent the next 2 weeks speeding up his taijutsu and adding jutsu to his arsenal. Naruto had learned 4 more jutsu, 1 jutsu for each of his affinity, and had improved his fighting speed considerably. For lightning, he learned the Raiton Raiko Kosen no Jutsu, lightning style lightning beam technique, a B-rank jutsu. He had found this jutsu in the Nidaime's library, a beam of lightning twice as wide as his arm. If it hit its target, the target will experience a fantastic amount of pain and will be heavily stunned, not to mention unconscious from the pain. Even if it's a near miss, the effects will have some effect due to a small bolt of lightning escaping. While he won't be using this technique against Neji, it was still a very useful technique for live capture. For fire, he learned Katon Katon Meni Miyanahi, I don't know. Fire style invisible fire, a B-rank technique Tobirama had created with the help of someone from the Uchiha clan named Uchiha Kagami. After molding chakra, Naruto would expel a single colorless beam of gas from his mouth. However, upon getting in contact with the target, the gas will spontaneously combust, and the strength of the resulting explosion will depend on how much chakra Naruto puts into it. For air, he learned Futon Repusho, Wind Style Gale Wind Palm, a C-rank technique created by someone in the Senju clan. After forming the needed hand seals, the user basically had to send an open palm thrust towards his opponent, which is capable of causing severe damage. Naruto can also use this in conjunction with a thrown weapon to increase his power. For water, he learned not a jutsu, but the secret behind creating water out of thin air. It was what Tobirama was known for throughout the entire shinobi world. Usually condensation is used to derive water from water vapors. However, Tobirama did not have the luxury of creating water vapors in the middle of the battlefield and then condensing it to form water. Therefore, he would cleverly saturate the air around him with his chakra without losing control of it, so that whenever he was in need of water and no water body was near, he would simply mold the chakra-saturated air into water, thus negating the disadvantage that water could not be used without water bodies. What was amazing basically meant turning a battlefield into a geographical advantage. With your chakra saturating the air, Tobirama could literally use it to do anything. This is what I could come up with. Alright, that's pretty cool though, I'm not gonna lie. I thought he was just pulling like water through his body, like through sweat or whatever, because the human body's like 70% water or whatever. I don't know the exact numbers, but you get what I'm saying. I thought that was what it was. I digress. Let's continue. For Fuin Jutsu, he had completed the chakra suppression seal he was working on with Jiraiya. He made it so that upon application, the chakra of the target would be completely locked, which meant that they were completely helpless unless they had something to outrun him without chakra. Anything he came up with was slapping resistance seals on his opponent. Simple but effective, something he would use against Neji. All in all, with the help of his shadow clones, Naruto spent almost a week to entirely master the first three techniques, meaning using them with the minimum amount of chakra and hand seals. He was still working on Tobirama's chakra saturation technique, using it discreetly without letting your enemy know. However, it was useless against the censor. It was the last remaining week of the month, and Jiraiya had said that the last week was fully for Naruto to train himself. That was good, since Naruto was, with his nigh limitless spanning of shadow clones, had the chance to test his learnings in a battle simulation. It was the second day of the week, and Naruto was taking a water break. His t-shirt and jacket had been discarded for a while to avoid them from getting drenched in his sweat. "So, what do you think of my training, Raiden?" he asked after taking a sip of water. Raiden watched his summoner sitting some distance away. "Well, it's definitely intense. You sure work hard for all your genius, Naruto," he dryly commented. When he was first summoned, he was delighted when Naruto asked him to give him some company while he trained. He had then proceeded to watch with wide eyes as Naruto summoned an army of around 500 shadow clones for an all-out battle against them. Raiden asked, just out of curiosity, how much chakra Naruto had Naruto just spent making the clones. "I'd say a full 3/4 of my total reserves," Naruto had replied after a moment. Raiden had dumbly nodded and watched as Naruto proceeded to decimate his army. He paid close attention to what Naruto had said and was doing some mental calculations. If Naruto spent 3/4 of his chakra, that meant he would be close to light chakra exhaustion if he spent any more. But Naruto had explained it to him that whenever his shadow clone is dispelled, the chakra returns to the original, along with the memories of that clone. Raiden observed that Naruto had started with taijutsu, destroying a dozen clones at first. Then he used an elemental jutsu, whether it would be fire, water, air, or lightning, to destroy another group. He would then switch back to taijutsu, then use a jutsu again. It was a cycle. Raiden realized after intense observation, Naruto never used any jutsu if he didn't have sufficient chakra to not collapse into exhaustion. But the funny thing that Raiden realized was that he couldn't understand whether Naruto was losing chakra or gaining it back. If it was simply taijutsu, Naruto would be gaining all the chakra back without any expenditure of his remaining reserves. But since he occasionally used a jutsu, it was hard to determine. In the end, he just presented Naruto with a theory and asked for his opinion. Naruto had thought for a full 5 minutes and then replied, "I'll put a pin in it, but I'm not thinking about it now." Turns out Naruto was mentally exhausted as well because he gained the memory of 500 clones in just 2 hours, so he won't be exerting anymore. Raiden was surprised how he had remained conscious after all that stress. Naruto chuckled. "You say it like geniuses don't have to work hard." To his surprise, Raiden nodded, completely supporting his point. Naruto corrected him right then. "Raiden," he said softly, sitting beside the fox so that his head was on Naruto's thigh. "That is the belief which isn't right. People misunderstand what genius actually means. They believe that someone who achieves something great without appearing to work hard is hailed as a genius, but that's not true. Genius is just a great capacity for hard work. Take me, for example. I have excellent chakra control, which allows me to grasp juices very quickly. But learning jutsus and mastering them are two totally different things. It is my genius that allows me to grasp concepts so quickly and easily." He stroked Raiden's head tenderly, having the fox undivided attention. "But only through hard work can I master them completely. That is what a genius is. Genius is the beginning of something great, but it is hard work that sees you through to finish. Genius is nothing without hard work." Raiden gazed at Naruto with wide eyes. who just looked at him with a small smile on his face. The fox could only shake his head in awe as he began to see Naruto in a new light. I always thought that the geniuses never had to work hard, but I never looked it from your point of view, he mumbled. His head rested on Naruto's thigh. Naruto was wise beyond his years, that was for sure. Why, you got some genius you are competing against? Raiden just sighed and took comfort in Naruto's scratches behind his ear. My elder brother Tashi is part of the trackers of the Kitsune. He's regarded as a genius in almost every way. He's already gained 2 tails and is close to achieving the 3rd. My family always said I should be more like him. He grumbled. He sounds interesting. Trust me, he's a douchebag, Raiden replied as he collapsed into a peaceful silence. While Naruto wanted to say something, he kept quiet, not wanting to interfere in what was clearly a family matter. Raiden, on the other hand, was thinking about what Naruto had said. If it was true, did Toshi really work that hard to where he was? Was he just seeing the tip of the iceberg? More importantly, if hard work was the key, was he not working hard enough? The questions plagued his mind for a while as Naruto kept scratching his ear. So lost in thought that they didn't even notice the presence behind him. The sunset looks really beautiful from here, a female voice commented from behind them. Their reactions were instantaneous. Raiden was on his hinds on an instant, taking the offensive stance of the Kitsune fighting style, with Snarl displaying his sharp teeth. Naruto himself had whipped 2 of his kunai into his hands in an instant, coating them in wind chakra, getting into his usual offensive stance, muscles tense for any action. Only when he got a good look at the speaker did he relax. Raiden, relax, she's a friend. He sighed. Raiden looked at his partner before relaxing, turning his eyes onto the girl. Tamari looked at both of them with something akin to amusement. She inspected the fox, then Naruto. Based on what she had seen from the last 5 minutes, they seemed to be pretty close. She had also gotten a good look at the bare upper body of Naruto, both front and back. And she had to admit, he was definitely hot, hotter than most of the males she had seen. She marveled at it, how defined his muscles were for his age. His chest was perfectly developed for someone his age, not to mention his abs. The perfectly chiseled six-pack caused her to blush deeply, imagining not-so-straight thoughts about her and Naruto in an intimate position, being embraced by his powerful arms. How can I help you, Tamari? The voice broke out of her thought, and she desperately tried to regain control of her blush. Naruto and Raiden, who was now a little taller than Naruto's shoulder on his hind legs, looked at her quizzically. Raiden turned to Naruto and looked at his face as if looking for something. He smirked when his nose picked up on traces of arousal from both Naruto and Tamari. If he smelled correctly. Naruto, is she your girlfriend? He bluntly asked, not even hiding his smirk, and both of them turned to him. Tamari looked at him with a slight anger, her blush not receding at all. Naruto looked at him with wide eyes of disbelief and a slight open mouth. Tamari regained her wits faster than Naruto, who was still looking agape at his partner's suggestion. She almost swung her fan at Raiden. Why, you? That was as far as she got when she was stopped when Naruto got in front of the fox, holding a palm up and a small smile on his face. It was a joke, Tamari. He's a bit of a joker. Tamari, turning his face so that he faced Raiden and Tamari couldn't see him, he gave a death glare to Raiden. The fox would have been intimidated greatly if not for the slight blush on Naruto's face. Go back, Naruto mouthed. Raiden winked at him and mouthed back, all the best, before going home. Naruto barely resisted from bashing the fox's head. He took a deep breath and turned back to Tamari, whose eyes were a bit lower than his. He became acutely aware for the first time that he was naked above his waist. He tried to salvage the situation with some light flirting. You see something you like? He saw as Tamari's eyes snapped to his and had to hide his smirk at the embarrassment swimming in her eyes. He then saw her take a deep breath, calming herself. She then smirked and replied in the same light flirting tone. Don't mind if I do, and it's quite a sight. She kept her smirk from widening when she saw him look away. Naruto decided to address the issue. So, any reason why you're here? He walked towards his shirt and jacket. He quickly got dressed and faced her, arms folded. She put her one hand on her hip, her smirk turning into a smile. I just wanted to say, nice job at the prelims. You gave the dog boy quite the beating. Naruto smirked and shrugged. I had to settle with him, that's all. And your fight was something to see as well. I feel bad for my fellow Konoha man. He complimented sitting down. He was surprised when Tamari walked and sat down in front of him as well, a little closer than what he was appropriate. But I'm not complaining, he mentally smirked. She shrugged. Thanks for the compliment, but I can't believe it was just an unlucky matchup before. Oh, but I believe it was just an unlucky matchup for her. Naruto nodded in agreement, having come to the same conclusion as before. He thought if he should ask her what was the Jinchuriki of Suna doing in a foreign village, especially during something as important as the tuning exams, but refrained. He could ask her later. Tamari looked at Naruto closely. He he was quite relaxed, but his position was such that he would be able to react instantaneously if she were to attack him now. Speaking of which, say, would you care for a spar? She asked, causing Naruto to raise an eyebrow. He gestured to himself. As you can see, I just finished my training, so I'm quite tired. He gave her a silent but the disappointment was clear. He had to give her points, though. She was quite bold in her attempt at trying to learn what his trump cards were. Too bad. But her head lifted up. I wouldn't mind a short taijutsu spar. He smirked, told her exactly that he knew why she was asking for such a request. He hadn't said it, but he already knew why she was here. No point in hiding it now. You are irritatingly smart, she grumbled, causing him to chuckle. He got up and held out a hand for her to get up. She looked at it for a moment and scoffed, but grabbed it nonetheless, allowing him to pull her up. Naruto looked down at the hand he held and just felt it for a moment. It was a bit smaller than his own, yet it fit perfectly in his own. He heard a small cough and looked up to see Tamari's blushing face and a scowl. He immediately let go of it, a blush creeping on his face. He realized how creepy he must have looked. He cleared his throat and gestured behind him. Shall we? That was how the next 4 days went. Naruto would summon hundreds of clones for an all-out battle to improve his application of nearly learnt techniques and fighting styles. Fight for over 2 hours, then relax. Tamari would come by sometime in the evening and they would spar. Naruto usually limited the spars with taijutsu so as to not accidentally reveal some of his tricks. Tamari had caught on as well and didn't protest at all, preferring to keep her tricks as well a secret. They would make small talk at the spar, and then Naruto would offer to escort her back, and she would playfully refuse every time. Naruto always thought that she was being observed, which is why she refused every time. She didn't want to be seen getting too friendly with the Konoha. Today was Saturday, and as so, Naruto planned to hit the simulation room one last time before the Chunin exams. He had already completed till the 5th level, each time more difficult than the last, but every level gave him ideas on where to improve, which he practiced all week and applied into the next level. So this is why Naruto was at the apartment right now, sitting on the floor of his bedroom looking at the 30 kunai in front of him. He had already imprinted the seals on the handles of the tri-pronged kunai. One was the Jutsu Shiki for the Hiraishin, the other was the seal he had developed so that the kunai could be stuck on the surface of water as well, allowing him to use them in areas where water bodies were. You seem to be thinking about last night, Naruto, Kurama commented from within. Naruto kept gazing at his kunai as he replied, last night. I can't figure out why they were doing this. Alright, there's a flashback. How long is this episode? 32 minutes. We can close that. Yo, sorry, that was the call that I was talking about. Listen, so I'm just going to keep this one brief. We're just going to end it off right here. Like, comment, and subscribe. I respond to all comments and I heart all comments, and I genuinely appreciate them. Any feedback that you give me is genuinely appreciated and, responded to. And, anything that you say, if you want to have a conversation down below, you want to tell me what's popping, tell me if how y'all doing, just let me know, I'm down to have a conversation anytime with you guys. So yeah, if you subscribe, please turn on post notifications. I know I watch YouTube on the TV a lot, so I can't really turn on notifications, and I can't really comment sometimes when I watch videos. So I understand if y'all can't, but it would be really appreciated if you did. If you maybe watching this from the phone, computer, anything, I don't know. I got a text message or something. Oh, no. All right, bet. Oh, y'all didn't need to see that. We got some new series planned out. Just a little sneak peek. Yeah, just a little sneak peek. I'm just gonna let y'all peek at that. You feel me? Yeah. We're setting up a new series, and I applied for some jobs. That's about it. But yeah. So, deuces. It's your boy the Anime Abu here, and I'm out.